Hello, listeners. Hope all of you are doing good. The week has ended today, and it was a very range bound week with 19,600 on the upside for the Nifty and 19,250 on the downside. So, most of the week, the markets was moving in this range. We saw news flows regarding the Chandrayaan 3, which again lifted the market sentiment, but it was short lived. On the US, Nvidia came with a good set of numbers, which again lifted the IT stocks yesterday, but again that rally fizzled out today. Now, the question for everyone is how will markets react next week? What is there in store for us next week? So, you expect a lot of volatility next week, and there are 3 to 4 events which would decide the market direction for next week. The first is obviously tonight's Jerome Powell's speech at the Jackson Hole. Now, everyone is looking pretty confident that the interest rate cycle is nearing its end. But the pertinent question at this point in time is how long will these rates stay at these levels? Is there a pivot anytime soon? So, considering the recent uh, weak news which is coming from China and Europe as well, we feel that the task for Mr. Jerome Powell would be a difficult one to handle this time. Last year, at the same place, he sounded a little hawkish and markets were in a dizzy. So this time around, he has the same situation in hand and mostly a worsening situation, especially considering the hikes which have been taken in the last since March 2022. So we believe that any hawkish tinge of hawkishness in his commentary tonight would give a risk of sentiment to markets next week. Another two events specifically on the domestic side would be the Reliance AGM, which is scheduled on Monday. The Reliance AGM, again, as every year, generates a lot of interest from all the investors. This time around, it is more special because recently Jio Financial Services has been listed. Now, there are various things which people are looking positive news which might come from this AGM. The first one, everyone is expecting some pathway about how the Reliance Retail would come out with its IPO. Recently, it sold a 1% stake to Qatar Investment Authority, which valued the company around $100 billion. dollars. So, a roadmap for this is expected. On the Geo Financial Services front, we expect that some clarity would be given about how the asset management business would come into picture, especially with the recent JV with BlackRock. The telecom business, again, the pan India 5G coverage, which is expected in December, some more clarity on that. Markets especially would look out for more clarity on the clean energy business which they are coming out. So let's hope that there is some good news in store from the Reliance AGM. Next, on Tuesday, everyone is waiting for the Supreme Court's decision on the Adani Group controversy. Now, seeing the traction in Adani Group stocks in the first 4 days of the week, which fizzled out on Thursday in uh, the last 1 hour, and today also there was some pressure on Adani Group stocks. It would be difficult to say what is in store, but we believe that considering the importance of Adani Group in the overall economic perspective and the kind of businesses they are into and the results which have come out in the last 2 quarters, we feel that there would be no major negative observations from the Supreme Court. So, fingers crossed on that point. On Tuesday, we have this. Then comes Thursday and Friday. Again, there are few global events which would again decide the market direction. The first one would be the Chinese manufacturing PMI, which is again expected to show in contraction. So that would be bad news for global markets again. And then the Eurozone CPI, which again is expected to show some easing, but again, that again is far away from the European Central Bank's target rate. So that again would not offer much respite to investors. Friday, the US non farm payrolls are due, and people are hoping that finally we would see some signs of easiness in the labor market. So let's hope. Now, considering this lot of volatility next week, which is expected in markets, we have two recommendations, which are mostly some low beta stocks and businesses which are perennial in nature, have stable cash flows, and there is growth visibility in them. So the first one is Colgate Palmolive. Currently, it is around 1970 levels, and the thesis for this is that they have recently had a new MD, Miss Prabha Narsimhan, which who is an ex HUL ex HUL, and we feel that since she has become the MD, the tables would turn for the company. There is a lot of premiumization which is happening in the oral care business, and we expect that the company would now focus on volume growth and fully leverage its Palmolive brand, which has around 67% awareness, and there would be a sustained inflow of products from the parent company as well. There's a big opportunity for Colgate Palmolive. A simple example would be 80% of the urban people are not brushing twice, and 55% of the people living in rural India still do not brush once in a day consistently. So there is a lot of opportunity there. So we feel that this company has a potential to deliver around 20 to 25% return in the next 1 year. The next stock on our radar is CMS Info Systems, which is again trading at around 360 levels. And we feel that it's again a business where this company is a market leader, especially in the cash management business. Uh, in the cash management business, the business has difficult modes to replicate. So not every player can come in and replicate that business. Again, the company has multiple revenue streams like the cash management business and managed services, which basically is into the remote monitoring, the software, and all this kind of business, which is again a high margin business, and the company is focusing on it. And there are also various medium term tailwinds in the industry which should help the company. Example would be most of these companies on the PSU side are outsourcing their ATMs to these companies. So there is around 80,000 to 1 lakh ATMs which still needs to be outsourced. And there is an addition of around 10 to 15,000 ATMs every year. So there is a recurring business which this company has. So that is that gives the company a good leeway in future. And on the financial front, the company has a healthy order book. It is work. It is getting the benefits of its operating leverage, and the balance sheet health remains intact. So again, Based on these factors, we feel that the company can easily give 20 to 25% return over a 1 year period. So that's all from my side, and expect a very volatile week next week. Thanks a lot.